Good afternoon and good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel and coffee stream number 156. And I'm finally almost back to normal. um, I unfortunately am still coughing a little bit, and my ear is almost well, not almost healed. I just started medicating it, but the pain is definitely gone. So the pain is manageable. Everything's getting back to normal finally. So, glad to be back. Very, very glad to be back. Um, so I've got a whole bunch of news for everybody today. Some that I found, some that Pincalo found. So I think we'll have a very good day, news-wise. We'll have lots to cover. So this is gonna be, I think we're gonna have fun today. Sorry, I just didn't want to cough in your ears. So let's say hello to chat before we get into any of this. Good afternoon, Moonshock. Hello. Hi, Green Thunder. Hi, Seamus. Hi, Calvic AD. Hi, All You Need. Let's see who else is here. Rolling Bear is here. Hello. Skeptalk, hi. Skeptalk says she's back. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you guys had a good weekend. I really do. And I really hope that we can have fun together. All right. Let's get right into this news here. I've got quite the list. Oh, Grillin' Pirate Pete. You're here too. Ahoy to you. A very merry ahoy to you, Grillin' Pirate Pete. All right, I have switched over to Safari here. And I'm gonna jump and grab the stories that I've got first because there are far fewer of the ones that I've found. Pincalo sent me about 7, I think. So I am going to quickly and actually he sent me a couple that I've picked for myself as well. So we have a couple of repeats. So I'm just gonna get the short list out of the way first. So here's one that's gonna make us giggle a little bit. Apparently, Tylenol is making kids into psychopaths because the title of this article, and this one comes from Pumpkin Trucker, sent this to me on Saturday actually, and I saved. Hi Trucker, you're here, right in time for me to read the article you sent me. Actually, very good timing. So here we go. Consumer alert. Tylenol's empathy-killing properties confirmed in second study. Yes, you heard that, right? Tylenol's empathy-killing powers confirmed in second study. Or properties, I'm sorry. Empathy-killing properties. Can increase my killing power, eh? That's what I hear when I see that. Oh, hello, RVA. All right, let's see here. What does this ridiculous article say? Flickr's still a thing? Sorry, there's a Flickr or an image from Flickr, and I'm like, Flickr's still a thing? Sorry, squirrel. Anyway, let's get through these links and get to the story here. All right.
2 highly concerning clinical studies in 4 years reveal that Tylenol not only kills the pain but human Link. Empathy.
Okay.
As well, adding soul deadening properties to its well-known list of serious side effects.
Soul deadening properties to its slowly widening list of side effects, huh? Yeah, I'm not late. Imagine that, says Pumpkin Trucker. So yes, apparently Tylenol kills your soul.
Advertising. When will we learn? Synthetic. Link. Patented chemicals have profound unintended adverse health effects.
Okay, not all fucking chemicals are bad. I know that, you know, there's this push to only take natural medicine. I myself am a big believer in the pain-killing, analgesic, anti-inflammatory properties of cannabis. However, I am not under the ridiculous impression that there are not medical necessities, or that I'm not under the ridiculous impression, sorry, let's try this again, that medical situations you can use synthetic medication. There's a reason medical science has developed synthetic things, because they help, like antibiotics, for example. Um, penicillin, yes, is derived from mold, funnily enough, but there are synthetic, like, medications and stuff that help. I looked into those studies, says Skeptalk. They had no scientific rigor. Um, they were amazingly flawed. Um, even the results, when you look at them, were paltry by their own measurement. Oh, I'm willing to bet that when we continue into this article, if they even discuss the studies at all, that we will see just how bad they were.
That take decades to be recognized, long after exposed populations have suffered profoundly. You are currently on. The risks of these pharmaceuticals are sometimes several orders of magnitude higher than their link. Natural alternatives.
What's the natural alternative to Tylenol? Especially for children. What's the natural alternative to Tylenol for kids?
Period. Over-the-counter painkillers have become classic examples of this, with so-called link. Low-dose aspirin no longer considered safe.
Okay, who says low-dose aspirin is no longer considered safe? It's not safe to give to children. Hi, Armskiller. It's not safe to give to kids because of the development of Rice syndrome. But it doesn't mean it's not safe for everyone. Low-dose aspirin is still incredibly good for helping in stroke prevention. How can you say stupid things like this?
Enough to use for the primary prevention of cardiovascular disease and stroke.
It's not safe enough to use for the primary prevention of cardiovascular. No, not alone, but I don't think you were ever told to just use aspirin. I correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think aspirin was ever just like given all by itself for stroke patients. I'm pretty sure it was, if you are feeling like you're having a stroke, chew an aspirin while you're waiting for the fucking ambulance to show up. I don't think it's got anything to do with, here, you're a stroke patient, only take aspirin, and we're not going to put you on any other blood pressure medication or, blood thinners or heart medication. Like, this article is very, very dishonest.
Link. Link. Ibuprofen causing tens of thousands of deaths each year. You are currently
Ibuprofen causing tens of thousands of deaths each year. I don't think it's causing tens of thousands of deaths each year, or else it would be off the shelves. There have been some infant problems because parents are not shaking the liquid Tylenol and or ibuprofen suspensions hard enough so that the concentrations are not like it's not being mixed properly, and you're giving them um bad it's you know it if you don't shake it up, it's going to settle, and different concentrations are going to be in different spots, and it's just not good. But tens of thousands of deaths from ibuprofen a year, there would be a massive recall. Skeptalk says, I use aspirin for the prevention or to prevent the recurrence of my stroke. It has worked pretty well so far. I take 1 adult aspirin per day. Yeah. Calvic AD said most bullshit medical studies can come from people who aren't even real doctors. Most of them are chiropractors and or people who promote anti-vaccination. Yep. And this is what this seems like, talking about natural alternatives to Tylenol.
Link. Due to its recently discovered cardiotoxicity. Link. Due to its recently discovered cardiotoxicity. You are currently on a link to
Cardiotoxicity? What cardiotoxicity? What is cardiotox? Well, obviously bad for your cardiac muscle. But what is what is yeah, any medicine is dangerous in large quantities, natural or synthetic. Anything is dangerous in large quantities. Yeah. They're talking out of their arse. They are. Oh, Skeptalk says, sorry, I was listening to the screen reader read my chat. Skeptalk says, this has all the hallmarks of a pharmaceutical war. Big companies will go after a product and try to make it unsafe with big studies. Ha. Yeah. I'm not buying all of this sudden insight. Neither am I.
And link. Tylenol's adverse effects on the psychological constitution of humanity. Only just beginning to surface on top of its already. Link. Well-established extreme toxicity to the liver.
Well-established extreme toxicity to the liver. Yes, if you take handfuls of it every day. You're not supposed to take Tylenol every day. The problem with people taking large amounts of Advil and Tylenol and all this is doctors like my old doctor, who was not willing to try and investigate what was wrong with my back and just kept telling me to take ibuprofen and or acetaminophen all the time. Hi, Vanilla Bear. Moderation is key, says RVA. Exactly. You can even take it every day, just not more than 4 adult tablets. Yeah. I'm talking about the people who are developed a tolerance to even the 4 adult tablets a day, who just take like the sports people, the people with the injuries who should be on actual medication, but whose doctors aren't listening to them. And that's not a medicine problem. That's a doctor problem.
Period. Third party in 2015. Link. A groundbreaking study found that Tylenol, known by the chemical names acetaminophen and paracetamol, not only blunts pain, but has potent psychotropic side effects highly relevant to human social connection and behavior, such as blunting both positive and negative emotional stimuli, also known as effect flattening in psychiatric terminology.
Potent psychotropic side effects, such as blunting both positive and negative stimuli. Really? I've taken a lot of acetaminophen in my life, and I'm pretty. What was wrong with my back, Milkman Dan? Um, so a lot of my back issues stem from carrying Braille books in high school because one textbook, for example, my math textbooks were generally about 20 to 25 smaller volumes of Braille because the paper is so much bigger. And math books, especially geometry sections, they attempt to provide tactile diagrams. So per class, depending on the unit, I would have to carry um, maybe 2 to 3 different textbook volumes, depending on how many pages we would be flipping back and forth between. Um, and even though I made several stops at the school's resource room where most of my Braille books were kept, and my locker where a smaller subset of my textbooks, the textbooks that I was using at the time for each unit of my class, it was still a very heavy backpack. And also we have doing winter in Canada, carrying backpacks on ice, slips and falls. And unfortunately, I had a we'll just say a bad relationship with somebody before Pincalo, who was not a very nice person and did some physical stuff, but we'll not dwell on that. So between all of that and then getting hit by the car in 2012, my back is pretty jacked up. Hi, Alfred. How are you? Haven't seen you here in a while. Hope you're doing well. Hope the girls are well. Let's see. I wonder if all the oh let's see here. If you don't have a liver compromise, you can get rid of it fine. If you have chronic pain, you don't really belong on Tylenol in the first place. Exactly. Calvic AD says, I wonder whoever wrote this article knows about all the medical trials these medications go through before being released to the public. No, probably not. Armskiller says, sounds like jargon from sci-fi shows. It does. Potent psychotropic side effects that we've just now noticed after decades of use. Yeah, I know, right? Let's see. Acetaminophen has a 4 grams a day maximum before kidney damage. And 4 grams is so extra strength acetaminophen is usually 500 milligrams. So 4 grams of that would be 8 500-gram or 500-gram. Yes, 8 500-gram tablets. Fuck off. 8 500-milligram tablets. That's a lot of Tylenol in one day. Yeah. Lily's not doing great, but we are hoping the doctors are going to do their job soon. Oh, dude. You know what, dude? Best of luck and you know what? Just big hug to Lily. I hope things go well for her. Pumpkin Trucker says I kill pain in the old-fashioned way. Alcohol and self-shame. Milkman Dan says, "Holy crap! I remember my books were heavy in school, but I would imagine Braille books would be even worse. I hope your back doesn't give you too much grief in any case." Well, thanks, man. Thanks very much. Worked for my grandpappy, says Pumpkin Trucker. Hey, Uzi. All right.
Now, a new study published in March in the journal Frontiers of Psychology titled Link, a social analgesic, acetaminophen, paracetamol, reduces positive empathy. Further confirms that this extremely popular drug, billions of doses taken annually, directly interferes with the experience of human empathic connection, specifically, reducing empathy for other people's suffering.
Yeah, Tylenol. Tylenol, is that really that's the issue? That's the issue? My mom has had lots of acetaminophen prescribed to her due to her bad reactions to opioids. We are very educated on painkillers here, yeah. Hey there, irate prostate. Good to see ya. A social analgesic. Yeah, it has nothing to do with the fact that our technological advances have basically eliminated delayed gratification. The fact that our we seem to have stopped teaching our children things and just said, someone else will do it. Yeah, that's all Tylenol's fault. It has nothing to do with our inability to keep up with our technological advancement and learn how to use our technology properly. It has nothing to do with our instant access to things and the pace with which that has increased. It's all Tylenol's fault.
In the new study, researchers tested the hypothesis that Tylenol-impaired affective processes related to the experience of empathy with a double-blinded, placebo-controlled trial consisting of 114 undergraduate students who randomly received either 1,000 milligrams of the drug or a placebo.
That's it? 114 students? What a tiny study.
1 hour after administration, subjects read scenarios about the uplifting experiences of other people, different protagonists within the stories, and their responses were evaluated with the aim of determining their ability to empathize. You are currently on a text.
Okay, here's my first question. Why didn't you do this test before you gave them the Tylenol and then repeat the test after you gave them the Tylenol? Damn you, Tylenol, says Milkman Dan. Oh, God.
Results showed that acetaminophen reduced personal pleasure and other directed empathic feelings in response to these scenarios, the researchers reported.
Again, why didn't you do this test before administering the Tylenol and the placebo to get a what's the term? A control result? And then why didn't and then give them the Tylenol and the placebo and then administer that test again? You have no baseline. That's the word I'm looking for. You have no baseline to measure against the Tylenol after you've given them the Tylenol. What a stupid study. Holy shit.
These findings suggest that 1. Acetaminophen reduces effective reactivity to other people's positive experiences, and 2. The experience of physical pain and positive empathy may have a more similar neurochemical basis than previously assumed. Because the experience of positive empathy is related to prosocial behavior, our findings also raise questions about the societal impact of excessive acetaminophen consumption.
Okay, again, no, it doesn't. This study only shows that you gave some people some pills. Some of them were Tylenol, some of them weren't. And you read them scenarios about people. Some of them were negative and some of them weren't. What if you had really shit scenarios that people went, well, that's unbelievable, so I have no feeling whatsoever on the matter. Tylenol turns the freaking frogs apathetic. Let's see. Let's see. My sister did an inventory of all of the acetaminophen in my mom's place. Almost 3,500 milligram tablets were in her medicine cabinet. Large quantities were the only way insurance would cover it. Wow. She has asked the doctor to cut them for now. What about other drugs that they take? Says Armskiller. Yeah. Hello, Green Venture Outdoors. Let's see. Atrazine. Yep. What else? Medical history is very important before starting a study, says Armskiller. Yes, it is.
Third-party act. Below is a graph of the relative responses between Tylenol-treated and placebo-treated individuals, with the Tylenol group clearly seeing reductions in positive empathic responsiveness. Currently on a text element.
Oh, sorry about that.
The researchers hypothesized about the neuroanatomical mechanisms behind these findings. Neuroimaging evidence suggests that key brain areas involved in these psychological effects of acetaminophen are likely to be the anterior insula AI and anterior parts of the cingulate cortex, DEC. Acetaminophen reduces activation in these areas during physical and emotional pain. Link. View all et al. Link. Picker God. Link. Imordino Yang et al. Link. Link. God.
There's all these links.
The researchers elaborated on the implications of their findings in the study concluded as follows. Finally, our findings have important practical implications. Positive empathy provides part of the social glue from which interpersonal bonds are built and strengthened.
Positive empathy. So, is this another way of saying reels, or you got to start taking feels over reels, and Tylenol is making people mean? Is that what this study is saying right now?
Link. Morelli et al. Dot. Link.
Yeah, and then we've got the sources of the people who wrote the study. This is ridiculous. Holy crap. All right, so here we go.
Overall, the present research shows that acetaminophen reduces empathy for the pleasurable experiences of other people. These findings not only constitute an important step forward in our understanding of the effective mechanisms underlying the experience of positive empathy, but also raise concerns about the societal impact of excessive acetaminophen consumption. Could Tylenol be contributing to antisocial behavior in exposed populations? Research like this indicates that this is absolutely a factor in society at large, like psychiatric medications. Your current link, with their well-known association with violence against self and other. Drugs designed to blunt pain on a merely symptomatic physical or psychological, instead of addressing the root causes of the suffering, can lead to behaviors that demonstrate a lack of compassion and consideration for others. You are
Wait, did it just say that all psychiatric medications automatically come with the side effect of wanting to kill yourself or hurt yourself or others? I wonder what happens when you give frogs LSD. Yeah, I think I've beat this one to death. This is the end of the article anyway. It was just the conclusion of the study. So let's close that. Close that there and move along to the next one here. So I found one. We know you know how we all know of the crazy cat lady. Well, here's a here's a case of ridiculous amounts of cats. Let's see. Ready? More than 300 cats rescued from North York apartment, says animal welfare organization. So North York is a like a smaller part of Toronto in Canada. So this is and I read this article, and the reason I'm reading this is because there's no like horrible, awful cat death or anything like that. So the cats were found in surprisingly good condition despite some appearing malnourished or dehydrated. So um there was some dehydration and malnutrition going on because there's 300 of them, but still. Here we go.
More than 300 cats were discovered holed up in a North York apartment on Saturday by Toronto's animal rescue organizations. Play. According to an Instagram post by the Toronto Cat Rescue, TCR, the organization's volunteers responded to a call by the city's animal services to help remove 70 cats out of an apartment Saturday morning. They were completely unprepared for the overwhelming sight that would greet them at the front door. Pause.
So yeah, they go there expecting to rescue 70 cats. Okay, and they find they find 230 more on top of that. That's ridiculous.
Play.
That's ridiculous. How do you fit 300 cats in an apartment like sardines or something? I don't know. Stop that, freaking computer.
Frame. The organization has since posted pictures of a sea of cats crowding every space imaginable in the small apartment. 4 or 5 are pictured crouched in the bathtub and on the toilet seat, while rows of cats sitting on each step of the staircase stare unblinkingly into the camera.
Wow.
A sea of cats is pictured in this. A sea of cats is pictured in this post by the Toronto Cat Rescue Organization. More than 300 cats were discovered living in the apartment. Toronto Cat Rescue figure.
So that's the caption of
Cats
the picture, and then we've got a picture of cats.
A sea of cats is pictured in this post. End of. Ace. It was an incredible sight, said Belinda Vanders-Lewis, TRC Executive Director. It was a difficult place to be, with the strong smells, overwhelming number of cats. Throughout the day the number just kept increasing as you counted them. Pause. Related story link. Vanders-Lewis said her organization found out about the situation after receiving a call from the Toronto Animal Services on Friday, whom she says allegedly received the call from complaining neighbors.
No doubt, the smell had to be awful. How crazy does someone have to be to own 70 cats, let alone 300? Yeah. Yeah. Green Green Thunder has described Viper Sword's dream house. Uh, Green Badger Outdoors says, "Could you imagine the smell?" Yeah, I know, right? That's crazy. But she's a mad cat lady.
Story continues below. FF, the cats, some of which are pregnant, crowd the tiny city apartment in North York. Toronto cat rescue figure. Your the cats, some of which are end of. She does not know whether the resident will be facing any charges, but maintains that the cats are in fairly good condition. Some of them are a bit malnourished and dehydrated, but no fleas, parasites, dental or medical problems, she said. Some of the cats were pregnant and imminently due, which will increase numbers. Play.
Oh God. Oh no. So
Pause.
that's gonna be like some of the cats are. I wonder how many cats are pregnant because that's gonna be at least like between 3 to 6 kittens per cat. Oh my God, that rescue is gonna be overflowing with cats. What are they gonna do? That's that's gonna it's gonna be insane. Where are they gonna put all of those cats? And how are they going to get homes for them all? Holy crap. I'm trying to imagine that many cats. Wow.
This is the second large feline hoarding situation discovered by the organization in less than a month, added Vanders Lewis. More than 140 cats were discovered residing in another home about 3 weeks ago, some of whom have since given birth to multiple litters. If you know of a situation where there are more cats living in a home, then please call local authorities, she warned. Cats line the stairs and stare unblinkingly at the camera as volunteers work to evict them from the apartment. Cats, end of. Ontario residents are not legally allowed to house more than 6 cats, according to city bylaws.
Yeah.
Currently, the rescued animals are now housed in foster homes or veterinary clinics, as volunteers prepare them for eventual adoption. They should be ready quite soon since they're doing just fine, but we're keeping the cats with litters a little longer until the babies have weaned, explained Vanders Lewis. Play.
Makes sense.
Link. Not.
Well, at least this was an okay, like at least they didn't find these cats in squalor, and you know what I mean, like, and that's why I read this story because there's no, some of the animal rescue stories are pretty sad, um, and I'm glad that that's not what happened. I'm glad that the cats are doing okay. So let's see. Oh, see you later, Moonshock. Have a good work meeting. Was the woman a hoarder too? It didn't say what the resident's gender was at all, actually. This article is both wholesome and horrifying at the same time. It is. It is. So, here's the first titular article. Family sues Godane for $20 million after child suffers blindness. This is from Pretoria. So this is an African a this is a story out of Pretoria, Africa. So let's read about this. Let's read this here. If we can get to the actual contents of the article, which would be very helpful. Okay. Okay, here we go.
Pretoria, the parents of a girl, now aged 9, are claiming more than R20 million in damages from the Gauteng Department of Health after the child was exposed to too much oxygen at birth and turned completely blind.
Why are you waiting 9 years to sue the health? Marching to Pretoria, Pretoria, Pretoria. What? Why are you waiting? Like, why are you waiting 9 years to sue? Why would you not sue right away?
Isa Simula was born prematurely at 30 weeks at the Naturalsprut Hospital in Vlissels and weighed 1,300 grams. You are currently
1,300 grams. So that would be just over 2 pounds. Because 1,000 grams is 1 kilogram and 1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds. So she was probably 1,300 grams. So that's like probably maybe 3 pounds.
third-party she required supplementary oxygen, but was exposed to a too high concentration of oxygen. This led to a condition known as retinopathy of prematurity.
Okay.
Her parents said in papers before the Gauteng High Court, Pretoria, that she should have been screened for retinopathy of prematurity at the time, which was never done. You are
Okay, maybe she should have. Why didn't you do this lawsuit right when she went blind? I'm assuming that it happened pretty close. I'm pretty sure it happened pretty close to her birth. Why would you wait till she was 9? I'm very confused by this.
By the time her mother visited outpatients with the baby 2 months later, the damage to the baby's retinas had already occurred and nothing could be done at that late state to restore her vision.
Yeah, 2 months old. Why did you not sue at that point? If it was truly a medical mistake, why didn't you sue right when she lost her vision?
Heading Level 3, related article. The court was told that experts said failure to screen Isa, compounded by the medical staff's failure to advise her mother about the possibility of blindness, constituted substandard care from their side.
Okay.
The court was told that there was no good reason to believe that the child's condition would not have been diagnosed had she been screened in time. According to the medical experts, her blindness could have been prevented if she was screened and treated in time.
Okay, that's fine. But why are you waiting until she's 9 years old to sue? I don't understand. Okay, Skep.
Isa was placed in an incubator directly after birth where she was given additional oxygen. She was discharged a month later, without anyone realizing at the time that she was blind. Her parents said the doctors and nurses owed their baby a duty of care and they should have treated her with the skill and diligence expected from a hospital that was supposed to have expertise in caring for prematurely born babies.
Yes, they should have. Why are you waiting until she is 9 years old to seek restitution? This doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand why you're waiting for so long.
Isa suffers from severe retinopathy of prematurity in both eyes, and according to the experts, there is no doubt that this is due to the negligence of the medical staff. Apart from not testing her after she had received the vast amounts of oxygen, the staff also never bothered to check the levels at the time when it was administered to her. It is also claimed that they continued to give her oxygen after she no longer needed it. Her parents said she had experienced suffering and trauma as a result and would continue to do so for the rest of her life. She is now disabled and requires special care. The money the family is claiming is to make her life a little bit easier.
She's blind unless there's other like cognitive issues. All she needs is life skills and stuff. But again, why are you waiting until she's 9 years old? I don't understand that. I'm very confused.
Judge Reddy Malopasitosa ordered that McGuinramagopa was 100% liable for the damages which the parents could prove their daughter had suffered. The amount of damages would be determined at a later stage. Pretoria News. You are currently on.
So this is, I think...
Link. Compliment third party.
Yeah, that's the end of this article. So yeah, I'm not saying that they don't... that the medical board isn't wrong. Or that the medical people didn't screw up here. What I'm wondering is why they've waited so long. That's all I'm wondering. The court system in Africa moves slow, am I right? I get, like, if they started this process when she was a baby and it took till now to hear, that would be absolutely ridiculous. All right, so what I'm gonna do here now is go find the stories from Pincalo. So let's see here. What has Pincalo sent? Quite a lot, actually. What's the first one here? U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says that Canada's claim to the Northwest Passage is illegitimate. Okay, then. Whatever, you fucking retard. Let's read about this. Let's read this silliness. Come on. Oh, all right, here we go. So this article starts with a picture of an icebreaker, a Canadian icebreaker. And the subheading of this article is Pompeo's statement is described as a stunning rebuke of the 1988 Arctic Cooperation Agreement reached by Brian Mulroney and Ronald Reagan. Yep. Yep, it is. And this is by Mike Blenchfield from May 6th, updated today. So it was last updated today at 10:13. All right. Let's see here. What does this say here? Okay. Here we go.
Ottawa, Canada's claim over the Northwest Passage is illegitimate, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said Monday in a major speech to the Arctic Council that Canadian experts called both provocative and frequently inaccurate. You are currently...
Yeah.
Pompeo offered his characterization during a wide-ranging speech in Finland in which he also warned against China's increased Arctic presence, saying it threatens North American security and could be harmful to the environment. You are currently on... Pompeo reiterated long-held concerns about Russia's military buildup in the Arctic and how that, too, is viewed as being counter to American security interests. No one denies Russia has significant Arctic interests. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo speaks on Arctic policy at the Lappi Arena in Rovaniemi, Finland. Finland, U.S. Finland _S_. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo speaks on... End of. Pompeo's branding of a long-time disagreement on Arctic policy between Canada and the U.S. as a stunning rebuke of the 1988 Arctic Cooperation Agreement between the two countries, said Fen Hampson, the head of the International Security Program at the Center for International Governance Innovation in Waterloo, on UR. It underscores the upset every apple cart approach by the Trump administration to Canada-U.S. relations, said Hampson, the author of a recent book on the foreign policy of former Prime Minister Brian Mulroney. You are
Yes,
currently on the
it's
text element
you gotta
inside of web
throw in that
content.
it's the Trump administration's fault. Like it's well, I guess that Pompeo does speak for the Trump administration when he does these meetings, but you just gotta throw in the Trump there. You can't just attack Mike Pompeo himself and say what he said was stupid. You gotta work in that Trump has something to do with this somehow.
The routes between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans run between Canadian islands, but the two countries disagree about whether that makes them internal Canadian waters or international waters that have Canadian territory nearby. The disagreement matters more now that melting Arctic sea ice means the Northwest System warning. Web content.
System warning.
System warning. From http://macOS-online.
Sorry, hold on, guys. That was weird. Pinkalo, one of the stories you sent me gave me a system warning. That's not good. Oh, see you later. Build a northern wall, make Mexico pay for it. Oh, Izum's here. Let's see. Pompeo throwing some shade. Yep. Yeah, that's really weird. A system warning. All hail Blue Whale. Have a good day at work. It's always Trump's fault. Yep. Orange man bad. Yep. Let's see. Well, that's annoying. Anyway, Mike Pompeo's a dumbass and says that we don't have claim to the Northwest Passage, despite the fact that US and Canada signed an agreement in 1988 that says otherwise. So that's what that article said before it gave me a system warning, so I'm not opening it again. Now, what is this next one here? Oh, Pinkalo found this one via Sophane's Twitter page. Georgia mayor under fire for alleged remarks about black job candidate. And so this is from yesterday. There we go. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Okay.
The mayor of Houston, a nearly all-white community 50 miles northeast of Atlanta, allegedly withheld the job candidate from consideration for city administrator because he was black, an AJC investigation has found. According to documents obtained by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution and interviews with city officials, Mayor Teresa Kennerly told a member of the city council she pulled the resume of Keith Henry from a packet of 4 finalists because he is black, and the city isn't ready for this. The AJC's investigation into the controversy revealed not only a deeply flawed hiring process, but also hard racial attitudes inside Houston's government. All of this occurs as the city of fewer than 2,000 people just outside Gwinnett County is Link. Poised for dramatic growth. With the construction of thousands of new homes.
Wow.
Initially, Kennerly would not answer questions about her reported comments, saying she could not publicly talk about matters that occurred in executive session even though the law does not forbid that. I can't say I said it or not said it, she said.
I can't say I said it or not said it. Oh man, that is clear politician speak. Canada, or as my government calls it, Snow Mexico. X'd out. I don't know. Well, like, I don't know if this happened or not, but yeah, I don't know if this happened or not, but we'll.
Later, Kennerly issued a statement disputing accounts from other city officials.
So these are other, like, there are other city officials that are saying that this happened. So I don't know what's going on here.
I do not recall making the statement attributed to me regarding any applicant for the city administrator position, and I deny that I made any statement that suggests prejudice, she said. The candidate, Keith Henry, said he was interviewed by Kennerly over the phone and did not detect bias on the part of the mayor. But as a black man applying for executive government positions in small southern towns, he said he is not shocked if there was.
See, okay, so he didn't detect any bias from her. See, yeah, this is a weird story. Is this something where some white people saw her pull the resume for some different reason and just assumed that he was black, so therefore she didn't want to hire him? Like, is this what's going on here? That's what this seems like.
Frame. It comes with the territory, he said. If you live in America as a minority, you can't be naive that it is the reality that you face. Racial discrimination in hiring has been against federal law since passage of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. Private and public entities, including Hodgson, universally post or have enacted strong employment anti-discrimination statements. You are currently on a text Hodgson City Code reads, there shall be no discrimination exercised because of race, national origin, color, religion, creed, age, sex. All personnel actions shall be based solely on individual merit and fitness.
So I have a feeling that she interviewed him over the phone. There was something that she didn't want in him as a candidate, and she took his resume out, and I have a feeling other city officials went, "Oh, you took out the resume of the black man. You're a racist." That's what this seems like.
The mayor reportedly made her comments to a member of the council in an overheard whisper during a closed-door session of the council March 4th. Councilwoman Hope Weeks said she repeated them to her in the parking lot after the meeting, according to a document released by the city in response to an open records request from the AJC.
So we've got two people who say that she's whispering it to them.
She proceeded to tell me that the candidate was real good, but he was black and we don't have a big black population and she just didn't think Hodgson was ready for that, Weeks wrote in an account dated March 4th.
That doesn't sound... I don't know. This seems weird to me.
Weeks confided with Councilwoman Susan Powers, and both women agreed to take the matter to City Attorney Thomas Mitchell. Both of us were just appalled, so we thought we had to do something to stop it, Powers said.
So two of you decided that this is what she said. Yeah, this seems more and more of a unless there's like audio of this happening, I don't think that this happened the way that they're saying this happened.
Weeks declined to be interviewed on the record, but issued a statement saying she was disappointed in the mayor's comments about the candidate.
If she was so disappointed, why would she not want to be interviewed for the record? If she was this disappointed and this appalled and she went to the city attorney, why wouldn't she just continue to blow the whistle and be interviewed publicly? And they talked to her, like they released her name in the article, so the mayor's gonna know that she told them. Why wouldn't she be interviewed publicly? Yeah, this is, I don't buy this. It's 2019. I don't think things have changed whether enough we could, I don't know if things have changed enough that we can hire blacks. Yeah. I love when white people are offended for me and offend me against and defend me against the oppression of and stuff. Yeah, I know, right? Like the sighted people who tell me that I shouldn't say that I'm blind because it could be mean even though I am totally blind. They're like, "No, you need to say you're visually impaired." And I'm like, "But that means that I still have vision to be impaired and I don't." Green Badger Outdoors says, "Yeah, something about this doesn't pass the smell test." Yeah, I agree. I agree. Oh, there's still more to this article. Oopsie.
Mr. Henry was a very professional and qualified candidate who was a finalist for the position of city administrator before withdrawing to accept another position, she said. I am thankful for the opportunity to serve the citizens of Hodgton, but this has been one of the most challenging seasons of my life. According to a series of emails obtained by the AJC, a deal was made between Mitchell and the city's 5 elected officials to continue the hiring process that allowed Kennerly to attend, but not participate, in the interviews.
What?
She is not going to speak or ask questions, Attorney Mitchell wrote. The attorney also warned city officials to stop putting their concerns in writing. You are currently on a
Wow. Stop putting your concerns in writing. So everyone just go whisper to each other. This is confusing as hell.
I do not think it in the best interests of the city, or the individual elected officials, to continue emailing in this manner, he wrote in a March 14th email. In emails, Powers protested the mayor's continued involvement in the search for a city administrator. You are currently on a text
Wait, the what? People are mad that the mayor is involved for looking for a city administrator, but why shouldn't the mayor be involved? The mayor leads the city, the mayor runs the city. Why shouldn't the mayor help pick the city administrator? I I don't understand. Okay.
since she corrupted this entire process by trying to shield the application of Mr. Henry from council members and then making the comment to the effect that while he is qualified, he should not be considered because he is black and the city is not ready for this. She should not be a part of this hiring process, Powers wrote. I am appalled that in 2019 an applicant would not be hired based solely on the color of their skin. Henry, who lives in suburban Houston, Texas, withdrew his candidacy shortly after the March 4th meeting and subsequent phone interview with council members. He said he decided to withdraw, in part, because the city wanted him to pay his travel, room and board to come for an in-person interview on the promise of reimbursement at a later date. 2 of the 3 other candidates under consideration were local and did not face such an obstacle. Notification Center.
Okay, dude, everyone pays their room and board when they go to a fucking interview. If you go for an interview in another city, you pay for your accommodations when you go, and maybe you'll get reimbursed if you get hired. What's with the entitlement, dude? Seriously. That's crazy. That's insanely entitled.
Close button. Prep Safari. Things are different here. Councilman Jim Cleveland defended the mayor while confirming many aspects of the story, including that she made a tearful apology in another executive session on March 12th. According to accounts from council members, Kennerly said she was looking out for Henry because the city does not have a lot of minority residents. You are currently...
Okay, so what's going on? Did she say it? Did she not say it? This is sounding like a bad game of telephone. And a journalist smelled this bad game of telephone and went, "Ooh, a story. It's the Tylenol." Love it. Love it. There it is, says Hawk Silk. The current year argument. Yep. How dare the boss pick their employees, says Green Thunder. Yeah, I know, right? Those bastards. Hi, Zombie Teddy. Oh, what's this there, Irate? What's this Breitbart article? And the link's not working for me, of course.
I was there for that, Cleveland said. She cried. She had tears in her eyes. It was, in my opinion, a very sincere apology. Powers said she was unimpressed with the apology. It was, "I'm sorry if I caused you guys trouble," she said. She was apologizing to the council. To me, she shouldn't be apologizing to us, but to the person she harmed and to the city. The AJC asked Kennerly why she apologized and removed herself from the search for a new administrator if she did not make the comments, as she said in her statement to the AJC. She did not respond to those questions. Councilman Cleveland said he did not think Kennerly was necessarily wrong. I understood where she was coming from, he said. I understand Teresa saying that, simply because we're not Atlanta, things are different here than they are 50 miles down the road.
Okay, if she said it, yes, she was wrong. This is, honestly, this... Oh, Texas proposes bill for punishing big tech for posing Zombie Teddy says, depending on what profession it is, the interviewer and some companies will pay for a person to go to the job interview. Yes, some of them will. Fire them all and replace them with cats.
Cleveland described Houston as a predominantly white community not in accord with urban sensibilities about race. I don't know how they would take it if we selected a black administrator. She might have been right, he said. Cleveland, a local contractor who has served on the council for a decade, said he had ranked Henry last among the 4 finalists, not because he is black but because he had not come in for an in-person interview.
You don't expect that the employment agency or interviewer will pay for your stuff. And if they had offered to reimburse him later, he should have just done it. It made him look bad.
I worked for AT&T for 31 years. I was a manager. I probably hired over 100 people myself. I never hired anyone over a phone interview, he said. While Cleveland said it was not an issue in his decision on whom to hire, he did share his beliefs about race. I'm a Christian and my Christian beliefs are you don't do interracial marriage. That's the way I was brought up and that's the way I believe, he said. I have black friends. I hired black people. But when it comes to all this stuff you see on TV, when you see blacks and whites together, it makes my blood boil because that's just not the way a Christian is supposed to live.
Okay, then. You're a crazy old man. That's kind of crazy. Like, wow. Straight up. No bones about your racism. That makes your blood boil, huh? Holy crap. What a shitbag. Holy fuck. And hiding behind his Christian values is a reason for that? That's insane. Holy fuck. Oh my gosh.
Poised for growth. Hoshton sits just across the Gwinnett County line in Jackson County, adjacent to the larger city of Bristolton. Nearly 90% of its residents identify as white. The U.S. Census estimates a non-white population of 201 people.
How do you identify as white?
Tanya Aiken, owner of Doggone Cute Grooming, works on a client's dog. Aiken said she has seen her business grow over the past decade as new people move to the city, but she stays out of local politics. Chris Joyner/Chris. Downtown Link. Announce. Downtown Hoshton occupies about 2 city blocks, but it is ringed with new, partially built subdivisions. In February, Florida-based Coulter Homes. Link. Announce. It had closed. Link. It had closed on 1,422 acres of land south of Hoshton on which it plans to build a high-end senior citizen community with 2,600 homes. The development is a signal that the explosive growth of Atlanta's core suburbs is pushing deeper into areas once considered beyond its influence. Tanya Aiken, owner of Doggone Cute Grooming, said, "I'm not into the politics," she said. But she said he knows the mayor and has had a generally favorable impression of her. That Kennelly would make such a statement about Hoshton's willingness to accept a black administrator is disappointing, she said. I hope they hold her accountable for that, she said. I'm not that kind of person. I accept people for who they are.
Yeah, I don't know if this was actually said, but that city councilor's statement's pretty Jesus made sure half of his disciples were black, so woke. Oh, that's good. So let's see here. What's the next story from Pink Hollow here? Oh, former FBI translator who joined CARE in an attempt to shut down CARE screening database, Abdir something or other, has been charged with misleading investigations and obstructing. So yeah, let's read about this. All right. Here we go. Oh, okay. So, misleading investigators and obstructing a probe into into Al-Shabaab terror. And this is from The Blaze. All right. Here we go. Are we ready for this?
Last year, a Somali American man was listed as a plaintiff in a link lawsuit filed by the link Terrortide Council on American Islamic Relations, CARE, against the Trump administration, as part of a concerted, transparent campaign to have a federal judge declare the U.S. government's terrorist screening database as unconstitutional. You are currently
Which I don't see how it was, but okay.
special link. The Blaze Daily equals. Today, that man, Abdir Zakhati Ragwahili, who served as an FBI translator from 2012 to 2015, was charged on multiple counts related to his alleged interference with a federal terrorism investigation. Wahili, 66, of St. Burke, Virginia, was arrested over the weekend and you are currently charged. You are currently on a list with 7 counts of making false statements to investigators and 1 count for obstructing a federal investigation. He was scheduled to appear in federal court Monday afternoon in Alexandria, Virginia.
Wow.
According to the indictment, Blindness led investigators when they were scrutinizing a terrorism investigation involving unnamed individuals connected to Al-Shabaab, an Islamic terrorist group that operates in East Africa and controls territory in Somalia.
Holy fuck. That's insane. So this kind of seems like that lawsuit was kind of a smokescreen. That's what this seems like.
Third Party Act. In August 2018, CARE sued the Trump administration on behalf of the Wehili family, which included Hoi Wehili, which court papers identified as Wehili's daughter. CARE's lawsuit argued that counterterrorism measures imposed by the U.S. Customs and Border Protection link amounted to a kind of second-class citizenship. You are currently the terrorist screening database is considered an essential element of the vetting process for individuals entering the United States. Rick Copel, a former FBI principal deputy director, has link testified that the database plays a critical role in securing our borders and the safety of the American people by providing to the nation's entire screening and law enforcement communities the identities of known and suspected terrorists.
I would agree. I think that in this age of terrorism and counterterrorism and discourse that countries have a right to wait, so CARE is disrupting an investigation on a possible terrorist? Imagine my shock. Yeah, I know, right?
CARE continues to advocate for the Wehili family and for the removal of the federal database. Last month, the group continued to press forward and declared that the Wehili family was unfairly targeted and humiliated by federal authorities.
No, they really haven't been.
Frame. Link. Held. A hearing on CARE's lawsuit against the U.S. database was link held on April 4th in Arlington, Virginia. The judge has yet to make a decision on the case. It remains unclear why Wehili remained on the FBI's payroll for several years, given his family's well-established connections to radicalism.
Maybe he was either a paid informant or there's something fishy in the FBI.
In 2010, both of his sons were temporarily placed on the federal link no-fly list and denied entry into the United States after the two traveled to Yemen, the Hamas-tied link CARE and other advocacy groups put relentless pressure on the Obama administration to allow both sons to return to the United States. In their efforts to bring the sons home, CARE held news conferences in Washington, D.C., and sent letters to then Attorney General Eric Holder to raise awareness about the issue. In 2017, Yusuf Wehili, one of Wehili's sons, who had been originally banned from entry, was link sentenced to 10 years in prison for attempting to illegally transport high-powered weapons. In interviews with undercover informants, he discussed his willingness to target U.S. military recruitment centers on behalf of the Islamic State terrorist group. You are currently on a link. We ranked luxury cruises. The Met to 10 years in prison for attempting to link. We ranked luxury link 35 link. It was the
fucking ass.
Link. Low budget films
Sorry,
that
hold on.
made millions.
Yeah, that's the end of that article. So yeah, that's that. That's pretty crazy. Sorry, guys. Yeah, that's a pretty insane article there. Let's see, what else do we have? Where's the story about the bombers? Where's the story about the bombers? There we go. U.S. deploying carrier bomber task force in response to troubling Iran actions. So here's our second titular article. Don't know what CARE is, but classify as terrorist organization in my opinion. Yep. They're aiding and abetting. Yes, they are. CARE needs to be disbanded because it seems to be doing the exact opposite of what it claims to do. Yep. So CARE, Hawk Silk, is the I can't remember what CARE stands for. Can someone help me out? Can somebody help me out and put up what CARE is an acronym for in the chat, please? While we read this little article. Oh. Okay, there we go. Phew. Okay. So this is from CNN. All right.
Washington, CNN. The United States is deploying the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group and the Bomber Task Force to the Middle East in response to a number of troubling and escalatory indications and warnings from Iran, U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton said Sunday. A U.S. official with direct knowledge of the situation told CNN the threats were against both U.S. maritime and land-based forces in the region. The deployments are aimed specifically at deterring any Iranian military actions, the official added.
Ruh-roh.
In a written statement released by the White House, Bolton said the U.S. was deploying the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group and the Bomber Task Force to the U.S. Central Command region in the Middle East to send a clear and unmistakable message to the Iranian regime that any attack on United States interests or on those of our allies will be met with unrelenting force. You are currently _I. The United States is not seeking war with the Iranian regime, but we are fully prepared to respond to any attack, whether by proxy, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or regular Iranian forces, the statement continued.
So this is the U.S. basically saying, "Oi, Iran, we don't like what you're doing, and if you don't stop, here we are." Hey, Costin. Hi. Yes. Hello, Costin. Let's see. Ah, that's right. Council of American Islamic Relations. Thank you, Armskiller. Notice the relationship. Sorry, notice the relationship. The religion versus the country. Islam versus Americans. Yeah, that's true.
Two U.S. officials told CNN that the very public statements are aimed at deterring Iran. There's no indication any action by Iran is imminent. In comments made Sunday night, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said the deployments have been in the works for a little while.
Yeah, well, Mike Pompeo, we have already realized that you don't think that Canada has legit cause for or legit ownership of the Northwest Passage. So I don't trust what you have to say.
The guided missile destroyer USS Bainbridge, Wright, and the USS Abraham Lincoln transit the Strait of Gibraltar, entering the Mediterranean Sea, in April. Image. The guided missile will hold the Iranians accountable for attacks on American interests, and the fact that, if those actions take place, if they do by some third-party proxy, a Shiite militia group, the Houthis or Hezbollah, we will hold the Iranian leadership directly accountable for that, said Pompeo. The U.S. announcement comes on the heels of several recent events that have increased US-Iran tensions, said Nishank Motwani, a visiting fellow at the Asia-Pacific College of Diplomacy in Australia.
Hey, voiceover. When U.S. is capitalized like that, it's U.S., not us. But anyway.
Those include the link. U.S. designating Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Tehran's most powerful military institution, a terrorist organization, and Iran responding with the same designation for the U.S. military's Central Command, which oversees the Middle East region, and the U.S. eliminating waivers for some countries to buy Iranian oil and avoid U.S. sanctions, Motwani said. You are currently...
Wait, they're going to put sanctions on countries who buy U.S. or Iran oil? That's kind of weird. The Lincoln is a beautiful ship and fucking deadly, says Skeptalk. If Iran cannot hold their end of the deal, why should the U.S. trust them? They shouldn't. They shouldn't at all. They've got every right to do this. Like your tongue press. Okay.
_link said 2 weeks ago that Iran would link on the oil issue. Iranian Foreign Minister Javad Zarif said 2 weeks ago that Iran would continue to sell its oil on world markets and the U.S. should not try to stop it. You are correct. If the United States takes the crazy measure of trying to prevent us from doing that, Zarif said, then it should be prepared for the consequences. U.S. security officials at that time expressed concern that Tehran could respond asymmetrically by targeting U.S. facilities and personnel around the Middle East. You are currently, but Ma-20 said that would be a bad idea for Tehran.
Yes, it would.
I don't think it's in Iran's interest to escalate tensions. It would give the U.S. a reason to take on Iran, he said.
But the U.S. kind of already has a reason to take on Iran. The Bain Bridge could destroy a small country's air force by itself. Oh, that's cool.
And that might cause Iran to lose support it's trying to maintain among European countries who have stuck to the Iran nuclear deal that U.S. President Donald Trump abandoned. _frame. Zarif, the Iranian foreign minister, said 2 weeks ago that he believes some members of the Trump administration, but not with Tehran. He believes some members of the Trump administration, but not Trump himself, and some U.S. allies seek a confrontation with Tehran. Zarif pointed to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Bolton, the Crown Prince of the United Arab Emirates, Mohammed bin Zayed, and the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, dubbing them the B team.
The B team?
The B team is pushing U.S. policy toward a disaster, Zarif said. You are currently... It is not a crisis yet, but it is a dangerous situation. Plotted accidents, are possible. I wouldn't discount the B team plotting an accident anywhere in the region, particularly as we get closer to the election, Zarif said.
I don't know where. I don't know when. But something terrible is going to happen. You realize you sound like the fucking Arab version of Donald Rumsfeld? They can put a lot of cruise missiles in there, nuclear tipped if necessary. Some pirates should show them who's boss. Hi, Genty Maxie.
Ma-20 noted that Monday's announcement of the U.S. carrier and bomber deployments came first from Bolton, who has pushed a hardline policy toward Iran. The language is stronger, and part of it has to do with the hawkish stance of this administration, Ma-20 said.
The hawkish stance of the administration, huh?
A U.S. official said Acting Secretary of Defense Patrick Shanahan approved the deployments on Sunday because of clear indications that Iranian and Iranian proxy forces are making preparations to possibly attack U.S. forces in the region, Middle East. However, it is routine for the Pentagon to move forces in and out of the Middle East region. You are currently on a text element. For instance, the U.S. Air Force pulled B-1 bombers from an airbase in Qatar in March after 6-month deployment, according to the website of Dyess Air Force Base in Texas, to which the bombers returned. 4 U.S. Air Force F-35s taxi after landing at Al Dhafra Air Base, United Arab Emirates, on April 15, 2019. Image. 4 and the U.S. Navy has been without an aircraft carrier in the Persian Gulf since early April, when the USS John C. Stennis Carrier Strike Group departed to head to the Mediterranean for exercises with the Lincoln Carrier Strike Group, according to the U.S. Naval Institute's Fleet and Marine Tracker.
Yes. The U.S. moves ships around. That's how it works.
But a future carrier movement to the Persian Gulf was likely, and the Lincoln's move may just be that accelerated. When the Lincoln and Stennis were in the Mediterranean, it was the first time 2 carriers operated in that body of water since 2016, and U.S. officials portrayed it at the time as a show of U.S. resolve toward Russia. Also in the Lincoln Strike Group are the cruiser USS Lady Gulf and the guided missile destroyers USS Bainbridge, USS Mason and USS Nitsa, according to a Navy release from early April, which also said a Spanish destroyer would be operating with the strike group for its entire deployment. Other U.S. deployments in the region include the amphibious assault ship USS Kearsarge and its escorts, which were in the Persian Gulf as of April 29, according to the USNI tracker. And the Air Force has sent 2 squadrons of F-35A stealth fighters to the United Arab Emirates in the past month. In late April, those planes saw their first combat, striking ISIS targets in Iraq.
Wow, there's a lot of deployment over there. Holy moly. Let's see. When we project that kind of power in there, it is usually quietly accompanied by the Air Force flying of. There are a lot of assets that can be brought to bear. Yeah, I can see. I see that. Hi, Britt. How you doing?
The story has been updated. CNN's Liz Torrell and Ryan Brown contribute.
Okay, so this is finally the end of that article. So that's that article. I think I've got 2 more, and that will carry us until the end of the stream because it's 1:30. So this is good. We're clipping through this. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, let's see. What's this article that I have here? Cyprus new police chief apologizes over serial killer case. Huh. Interesting. So this is from today. Oh, Cyprus, the country. Okay. What does chat say before I start this? What? Bet you the Brits are gonna get involved too due to the special relationship, says Armskiller. Yeah, maybe. Oh, tired sucks, Brit. Let's see here. Oh, hi, Brian. Happy birthday, by the way. Let's see.
Nicosia, Cyprus. Cyprus new police chief has apologized to the families of 7 foreign women and girls who an army captain has confessed to killing.
God damn.
Kypros Mikhailide said at a ceremony Tuesday to mark his appointment that he offered the apology because police had failed to protect the victims. He said those who failed will be held accountable. Cyprus President Nikos Anastasiades fired Michaelide's predecessor over the negligence of some officers. Police have been accused of failing to properly investigate initial missing persons reports. Divers are continuing with a search of the body the suspect says he dumped in a toxic lake. On Sunday, search crews found a small suitcase that authorities believe contained the remains of an 18-year-old girl.
Oh, you piece of shit. What a piece of shit. Like, why you gotta kill kids? This is,
Advertisement link. Use of this website assumes link and link. All right with link image.
Is this? Let me plug my headphones back in, see if that's the end of that story. Yeah, it seems to be. Yeah, that's the end of that article. It's just a quick little blurb. And I'm not reading about the frickin' prince. What's this one here? What's this story? Come on, Safari. Okay. In 2017, a drunk man murdered his ex-wife and 7 others. This week, the bartender who served him was charged. And this is from the National Post. This is a Canadian newspaper. The subheading of this article is Lindsay Glass is accused of selling an alcoholic beverage to a habitual drunk or an intoxicated or an insane person. The misdemeanor carries up to a year in jail. So let's find the story here. All right, here we go. Here is the story. Actually, first, let's quickly see what chat has to say about the last story. All right, here.
Spencer Hyde went on a shooting spree in September 2017. He got drunk at the local public house, a bar just a few blocks away from his ex-wife's home, then stumbled through her door, heavily armed with a pistol, a semi-automatic rifle and a knife, police say. His ex, Meredith Hyde, was hosting a Dallas Cowboys viewing party with some mutual friends, some of who stood in their wedding. Hyde shot and killed 8 of those people, including his ex-wife, and seriously injured another. He did it to exact revenge on his ex-wife, authorities say. He was then shot and killed by police on the scene. Last week, police arrested and charged Lindsay Glass, the bartender who served Hyde that night, 1 year and 7 months ago. In 2018, the Texas Alcohol and Beverage Commission issued a report concluding Glass violated the sale to certain persons law by serving Hyde, whose blood alcohol level was 4 times the state's legal limit when he drove to his estranged wife's house, according NBC Dallas-Fort Worth. You are currently...
I wonder what the legal limit in Texas is. Here in Ontario, in Canada, the legal limit is 0.08. So I don't know if that, I think that's normally the legal limit. Anyone know what the blood alcohol level in Texas, the legal blood alcohol level in Texas is? Um, 08 in Texas too. So his blood alcohol level was over 0.32 if it was 4 times the legal limit. And so the bartender definitely shouldn't have been serving him. I think there's a case in Canada as well, or I could be mistaking this case for the case in Canada. Wait, so you can get arrested for selling alcohol to someone who may be insane. Sounds really scary for bartenders. There's a I think there's a point where, like, if you can't tell the person is insane and it's not obvious to you, then I think you're off the hook. But if it's proven, like if you look at videotape of, say, of the bar, and you can see, for example, that they are absolutely shit-faced, and you can see that the bartender is still serving them, then yeah, the bartender is screwed. Let's see what this says here.
See also. Link. Texas bar linked to mass shooting gives up. Link. Under the Texas law, a person is guilty of the offense if he or she negligently sells an alcoholic beverage to an habitual drunkard or an intoxicated or insane person. The misdemeanor carries up to a year in jail or fine of up to $500, or both. Hyde committed an American nightmare, Glass's attorney Scott Palmer said during an interview on Monday. He was hell-bent on committing this heinous act, but to blame a bartender 2 years later, he said, is not justice, but a stretch to hold someone accountable. You are currently on...
I'm a little bit inclined to agree with this. 32 is dangerous for amateurs, says Irate. For alcoholics, we consider that a breakfast level. Yeah. My grandfather, when he wakes up in the morning, he pours his coffee and his glass of white wine. um, so yeah, I know that very well, but I think he calls his he calls his especially at the cottage, he calls his wine his breakfast juice. It's rather amusing. Um and annoying at the same time. Um
According to ABC affiliate WFAA, a lawsuit filed by the victim's family's alleged glass told a colleague, Justin Banks, that Hyde was drunk and being weird and brandished a gun inside the bar. When Banks escorted Hyde to the parking lot, court documents said Banks asked him to leave his weapons behind and should let Banks drive him home because he wasn't sober. The lawsuit continued. Hyde told Banks he was having problems with his estranged wife and had something to do tonight. Banks told Hyde he should do them when he is sober, to which Hyde responded that he couldn't do the things he needs to do tonight without being this intoxicated, WFAA reported. You are correct.
so why didn't you guys call the okay, so why didn't you guys call the police then? After a while, you don't even pour it. You just drink the vodka out of a plastic jug. Well, it is made from grapes, after all, this is all you need. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Clearly what she did was improper. Semicolon. Link. Semicolon. Link. Share.php link. Although it's undisputed that Glass served Hyde liquor, she took actions that were not legally required of her that night. 2. Filings allege Glass tried to convince Hyde not to drive. He didn't listen, called the owner of local public house to ask whether she should call the police. He said not to, and then she followed Hyde to the house, though she left before the shooting began. There are allegations Hyde foreshadowed what he would do, and Lindsay Glass felt something was wrong, Palmer told the Washington Post. Lindsay is the person who called 911. Not only did she know Spencer, but she was friends with Meredith and was supposed to be at the party that evening, he said, noting that the detectives commended Glass for saving lives that day. Attorney Daniel Garrigan, who represents 4 of the 8 shooting victims, said he was surprised it had taken this long for the police department to file a criminal case against Glass.
No, I don't, in this instance, I don't think it was the bartender's fault. Damn, the Tylenol strikes again, says Calvic AD. I know, right? See you later, Costin. Have a great one.
Clearly what she did was improper. Had she called the police or cut this person off from having more alcohol, these people might well be alive, he told the Post. When you've got a case where the acts of omissions of the bar resulted in 8 deaths, I don't think holding them accountable is inappropriate.
No, but see, if he's gonna say I need to be drunk so that I can do the things I need to do, he planned on it. Like this didn't. Hi, Reason. Um, but he clearly planned on it. He just needed the liquid courage, so to speak. Um, I don't I don't think that this one counts as the bartender's fault. Maybe the fine. For continuing to serve him, but I don't think she should go to jail. She did call the police. I think the only proper action would be to bottle the guy in the head. Yeah.
However, according to legal experts, Garrigan misstates the law. Spencer Hyde murdered his ex-wife Meredith and 7 other guests at her house. Facebook figure.
Yes, he did.
Meredith Spencer 1.png. Spencer Hyde murdered his ex. End of. Under the Texas statute, which Palmer and Garrigan both said is rarely applied, Glass had an affirmative duty not to serve liquor to someone who she should have known was intoxicated. What actions Hyde took after that are not relevant. Whether Hyde murdered 8 people or 800 in a drunken stupor should have no bearing on Glass's case.
No, it shouldn't.
The issue is whether Glass served an insane or intoxicated person. It comes down to whether a reasonable person in the same situation as Glass would have known Hyde was intoxicated, says Kenneth Williams, a criminal law professor at the University of Texas Law. The answer is a question of fact that ends with the passing of alcohol from the bartender to the bar patron. There's always the danger of bad cases making bad law. This case certainly raises the concern, according to George Washington University Law School professor Jonathan Turley, and because the shooter was killed, there's a temptation to place responsibility on someone among the living.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to take a horrific criminal act and associate it with an earlier crime, like over-serving alcohol, he said. Glass may have had reason to know he was intoxicated, however, the charges seem to be an outgrowth of the homicide as opposed to the over-serving of alcohol violation.
Agreed. That's why I said she should have to pay the fine. I do not believe that she should go to jail for this. All you need says alcohol lowers inhibitions. Alcohol lowers inhibitions. And it's ridiculous to hold bartenders responsible for the drunken actions of their customers. Absolutely.
Not only did she know Spencer, but she was friends with Meredith. Semicolon. You link. Share doc link. Tuesday's charges could be interpreted as an 11th hour effort by the Plano Police Department to hold someone accountable, or a sign that criminal law is trending in the direction of criminal affirmative duties. It's important to understand where the line of criminality is set by society, Turley said, because these cases blur them in a potentially dangerous way.
Yeah.
Some of the facts alleged that Glass had reason to suspect Hyde was going to do something criminal, though he never said it explicitly. Still, there was no legal requirement she called the police. No law required Glass to reach out to the owner of the bar or to follow someone she thought would be a danger to others.
No, there is no legal requirement she do that.
But, her attorney says, Glass did. As bartender, did she have an affirmative duty to act or affirmative duty to intervene? Likely no, but like the old saying, go see something, say something. That is precisely what Lindsay did, her attorney, Palmer, said in an email, calling her decision to follow Hyde to the party an act of heroism that saved lives.
Yeah, it could have been way worse. He could have killed everyone at that party. Also, Plano police are some of the biggest liberal snowflakes you've ever seen in your life. Seriously, says Skep Talk. That's funny.
Link. 8 comment complimentary.
So that's the end of that article. Let me see if I have one more that will take us to the end of the show. Let's see here. Okay, here's the last one I'm going to read here. Trump pardons former Army Ranger who convicted of Iraqi prisoner. An Iraqi prisoner. Michael somebody? What's his name here? Where is the story? Here we go.
President. Link. Donald Trump has pardoned Michael B. Henna.
Oh, Michael B. Henna. Okay.
Link. A former first lieutenant in the U.S. Army, who was convicted of murdering an Iraqi prisoner in 2009. B. Henna, 35, was sentenced to 25 years in prison for unpremeditated murder in a combat zone after killing suspected al-Qaeda terrorist Ali Mansour. B. Henna was paroled in 2014. While Henna said he killed Mansour in self-defense, during the trial he admitted that. Link. He disobeyed orders to return Mansour to his village after he was released from military intelligence and questioned about his connection to an explosion that killed 2 U.S. soldiers. Prosecutors said Henna instead interrogated and stripped Mansour naked before shooting him twice. York First Lieutenant Michael C.B. Henna, left, and his defense attorney Captain Tom Clark, right, walk in Camp Spiker north of Baghdad, Iraq, September 21, 2008. Michael Henna, First Lieutenant Michael C.B. Henna, left, and his end of Henna's trial raised the support of fellow soldiers. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders wrote in a statement that upon his release from jail in 2014, dozens of Patriot Guard motorcycle riders met Mr. Behenna to escort him back to his home in Oklahoma. She added that Behenna's case has attracted broad support from the military, Oklahoma elected officials, and the public, and he was a model prisoner.
I wonder if this is probably a case of he knew something was going on. And something happened and he was like, it was an accident.
But questions have been raised about Behenna's claim of self-defense. Hina Shamsi, director of the ACLU's National Security Project, called a part in a presidential endorsement of a murder that violated the military's own code of justice, and added, Trump, as commander-in-chief and top military leader, should prevent war crimes, not endorse or excuse them.
But what war crimes did he commit? Did he kill some, like, I don't know the circumstances surrounding this shooting. I don't know. I don't think anyone really knows what happened except for former Lieutenant Behenna and the now dead prisoner. Nobody will know.
Oklahoma Attorney General Mike Hunter sent a letter to Attorney General William Barr earlier this year urging the Trump administration to consider a pardon for Behenna. In a statement, Behenna thanked the president for his act of mercy. Although this is a time of great joy for my family, we as a country must never forget Adam Colhus and Stephen Christopherson and all those who gave their lives in service of this great nation, Behenna said, referring to his comrades killed during combat. They represent the finest of our society, and their families will forever be in our thoughts and prayers. ABC News' Michael Stone contributed to this report.
So that's so he's been pardoned. He is a free man now. Killing a prisoner is a war crime. See that's what I mean. Like like I said, I don't know the circumstances surrounding it. I don't know if he was returning him to the village. Like, he said he did disobey orders, so I don't know. I do not pretend to know about the American military and its laws. This is not something that I will pretend knowledge of at all. I have no frame of reference, so. Oh, I lied. I've never put an Iraqi in prison, chain them in the hog barn. I know, not nice to hogs. This is complicated. I can help you run through it tomorrow. Okay, that could be an interesting topic. So, one last amusing article. If it were self-defense, that might be another story, says Armskiller. So, here's a very amusing article to end the show with. Harry and Meghan's baby will be an earl and not a prince. Here are the complicated, sexist, and hold on. It's cut off the headline here. Come on. Harry and Meghan's baby will be an earl, not a prince. Here are the complicated, sexist, and historical reasons why. Because, everything is sexist. Avenue Q needs to make a new song called Everything is a Little Bit Sexist. Okay. Let's get through all of these stupid links. Okay, here we go.
The son of Prince Harry and Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, was a healthy 7 pounds, 3 ounces when he was born at 5:26 a.m. Monday. His birth does little to disrupt the line of succession to the throne, other than tucking in a new person at number 7, but it highlights some unusual aspects of royal titles and their inheritance. In front of him in line to the monarchy are 5 princes: Charles, William, George, Louis and Harry, and 1 princess, Charlotte. Unlike his cousins, however, Harry and Meghan's newborn is merely an earl. So far, the National Post's Joseph Brayan runs through the reasons and the future possibilities. GN 39,004 Q. We do not know the baby's name, but do we know its title? A. That's the easy thing about royalty. You can spot a title coming a mile away. Harry and Meghan's new baby is Earl of Dumbarton, which is the title granted to Harry by the Queen on the occasion of his wedding. Had he been a girl, she would have been Lady Baby Mountbatten Windsor, that being the surname of this family that does not typically use one. Queen Elizabeth II is a monarch of the House of Windsor, and her husband Prince Philip's chosen surname after abandoning his Greek and Danish royal titles was Mountbatten. Peerages like the Dumbarton title cannot be passed from father to daughter.
Weird. Does the royal family even do anything? I don't think so. I really don't.
See also. Link. The royal link. Link Q A as F Q. Why is baby Sussex not His Royal Highness, Prince Baby? A, as ever with the royals, the answer is complicated, sexist, and grandly historical. But
Of course it is.
basically it traces back a full century to an act of defense against revolution. In 1917, revolutions were threatening to take down royal families across Europe. There had also been a bit of title creep, as royal families thrived under the health and wealth of the industrial age. Simply put, there were too many royals around. The simple solution, as King George V saw it, was to limit the scope of the highest royal title short of the monarch, HRH, for his or her Royal Highness, styled as Prince or Princess so-and-so.
So wow. They eat and shit. They're about as useful as seagulls. Yeah.
Q, how did he do that? A. It would not have been fair to strip titles from the various people who already had a claim, but for all future royals, George V decreed that all grandchildren of the monarch could keep the title, but at the great-grandchild level, it would be restricted to the eldest living son of the eldest living son of the eldest living son of the monarch.
Oh my god. Okay. Family tree bullshit. Patriarchy. Sexism. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not doing this. Trincalo, I'm not reading that one. And his father's fathers. Yes, Reg. And his father's father's fathers. Right, quite so, Reg. And his father's 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 fathers. That's what I just got. The huge Life of Brian fucking joke. Oh my god. That was that was just awful. The eldest son of the eldest son of the eldest son of the eldest. Ugh. So, um, that's gonna be that for the news today, everybody. So now, what say you, chat? You're not wrong. I mean, that's more than most skeps, says Calvin KD. Yeah, that's true. Let's see. No, I just got here, says Mr. Misanthropic. Oh no, you're like 2 minutes before the end of the stream. Oh dear, Mr. Misanthropic. Oh dear. That sucks. Um, so what, let's see here. Um, so while I'm waiting for last words from I'm back for the finish, says Alfred Keith. Nice. Um, so while I'm waiting for chat to say their final words, it has been such a good stream too, in spite of the dislikes. Dislikes are still interactions. That's fine. People wanna dislike the stream. That's cool. 6 dislikes. That's fine. I can figure out who the dislikes are, and I don't particularly care. So that's fine. Thanks for the interactions. 6 dislikes. You still gave me views. Thank you. I'm glad I found the what was it? I found our I'm glad our founders fought a war so I don't have to care about the royals. Yeah. Yeah, interactions all count. Thanks for playing, salty folks. Yep. Thank you for the views that you gave me while you hit the dislike button. I hope everyone comes back for tomorrow's coffee stream, which will be a Wednesdays with Skep edition. And this Friday's guest, which I have scheduled in. I'm still waiting to hear his confirmation, or well, not confirmation, but his message back to me, making sure that things are still good. But so far, our guest is gonna be Ghastly, motherfuckers. Fright Power. People who disliked took too much Tylenol. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. Such a shame you can't tell the difference between likes and dislikes, lol. Yeah. I hope everyone has an amazing, amazing day. Please come back tomorrow for the Wednesdays with Skep edition of the coffee stream. I hope everybody takes care of themselves. Remember, guys, please go over to Redneck Radio at 2:30 on Bloodwing's channel. It's always a good stream. He and Irate Bear are the hosts of that. So go check that out. It's going to start in about half an hour. And I hope everyone has an amazing day. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Thanks for watching, everyone.